Hi there, I'm Dr. Hans Toki. Are you fake or real? This is a little talk on how people change themselves to fit an image. Have you checked your social media lately? And if you were to look at all the pictures you've posted and all that your friends have posted, how many of them are the real you? How many of them are kind of fake or set up as an image that really isn't who you are? Humans change themselves to fit an image that they want others to think about them. Cuddy, in her very popular TED Talk, says, "Fake it till you become it." Power posturing before an interview is what she suggests, because people, when they have a good attitude, it actually changes their body chemistry. So if you fake it, you become it. Herbert Mead, the sociologist, had the incredible theory of social construction of self. What he argued was that humans have a real me and an I. What the me is a shell around them where they construct themselves according to the social rules of other people. So if you think about this, high school kid who dresses like everybody else, acts like everybody else, uses the same lingo in order to become popular, but it might not be the real person. So the shell is the me, who I want you to think of me, as opposed to Mead's I, which is in the middle. So if we're to think of a circle where the me is on the outside, on the inside is me. And the idea of the me is the real me, who I really am. Think of how many people you might know who live with these kind of me shells around them, where they act like the popular person, they dress like them, they talk like them, and then they post it on their social media to make sure everybody knows how good they are. When you might know them real, that the I who they are isn't really the me. So Herbert Mead argues that there is this social construction of self. Herbert Goffman picked up on this theme, the famous sociologist as well, in a theory called the Dramatalurgical analysis. What he argues is that we play to an audience, that life is like a drama. It's a show. The way he illustrated was that there is a front stage, just like in a show, and a backstage to the human. People get onto the front stage, and just like they want the audience to think good about them, they communicate a certain message, they act in a certain way, they talk a certain way to please the audience. And every social actor, he uses this term social actor, and energizes it with the idea that everything is a social act. So the front stage of the dramaturgical analysis sets us up to an audience. He also argues there's a backstage, a part that we cover up that is really what makes the show go. If you think of a Broadway show, for instance, and you were to analyze it, and I were to ask you the question, when you went to a Broadway show, what did you really see? You would say, I saw the actor, I saw some music, or I heard some music, I saw some props, I saw some costumes, I saw the audience, I saw the effect of lighting. If I were to ask you, what did you not see? You would say, well, you wouldn't see the props being changed backstage, or the uniforms being changed backstage, or the costumes, or the makeup in the dressing rooms. Or you might say, didn't know anything about the practices and rehearsals and what it took to get to this. That's the backstage. Goffman argues we all do this as social actors. We act to an audience with the front stage, but there's a whole backstage, a whole background to every one of us that influences who we are. I would make the case that a worldview that we have is influenced by things such as culture, family, upbringing, religion, and so on and so forth. So our backstage really affects the show we present on the front stage. But it's really the social actor is front staging it. He carries on with this to use a few terms in a sociological way. The first one is deception. This is not a negative term per se, but what he argues is that people deliberately use deceptive methods in order to make people think a certain way about them. So they would act a certain way, they would talk a certain way, they would dress a certain way. It's deception because it's not really who they are. In fact, when I'm on this video here, I'm not really using my regular talking voice. I'm trying to be a bit more illustrative, and I put on the nice shirt here and everything. Underneath there's a little t-shirt that you can see peeking through. I'm on my back porch. You can't see the other parts of the back porch. You can't see my beagle that just walked down in below with me, and you probably can't tell that I'm in shorts because I'm presenting myself to you in a certain kind of a way. So this is the deception. Demeanor is another word he uses, is how people have this ongoing behavior that you can't tell the difference between when they're living their regular life and when they're living this deceptive means or putting on a framework for something. And thus the best players in the game, as he shows it, are those who can use deception and demeanor over time to make people believe something about them. But it's still a social act on the front stage. As sociologists have analyzed this idea, we've really become convinced that what's going on is that the presidency of the United States is probably the best social act there is, because for someone to be elected, you will have to have spent at least 8 years framing yourself on a continual basis to fit into a certain act. Well, where does Amy Cuddy's fake it till you become it, the social construction of self, and the dramatalurgical analysis, where does it all lead? Well, into a field we call impression management. This is the job interview, the resume building, and there's a whole slew of marketing professionals who will help you with this without maybe even knowing that the social theory is behind it. So in impression management, we change ourselves to fit an image of what other people want to think of us. So, in the end, are you fake or real? And to what degree do you play this continuum between fake or real? How do you change yourself to fit a certain image? Have a great day.